With Biden expressed his views about the direction of the U.S. economy, what do you guys think? President Joe Biden has voiced confidence regarding inflation, starting that America would be able to rein in historically high inflation and that the Federal Reserve will accomplish a soft landing by reducing economic growth without entering a recession. And while all of this is happening, the ex-wealthiest man on the planet is having his fight with Biden. So what exactly is happening between these two guys now at the moment? Hey folks, welcome back once again to another exciting episode. As a result of a combination of events, including the pandemic, supply chain snags, and Russia's conflict in Ukraine, U.S. inflation has risen to levels that were not even seen since the early 1980s. The Consumer Price Index, the government's widely followed inflation data, revealed that the annual rate of inflation has begun to slow in recent months, registering 8.3% for the year ended in August, the second month of reductions. The CPI hit 9.1% year on year in June, which is the highest rate in more than 4 decades. However, the August CPI revealed a higher than anticipated month-on-month rise of 0.1% when the experts predicted a drop. Stock prices dropped as a result, with all 3 main U.S. indexes having their worst day in more than 2 years. Let's put this much more clearly. Biden moved to calm their fears by expressing hope that the worst was gone. The monthly inflation rate was just 1 inch, and that was scarcely noticeable, is it? Among the numerous stupid mind-numbing agenda-pushing Twitter interactions going on at any given time, the one between the President of the United States and the world's second richest person stands out for its dullness and willful simplicity. First and foremost, congratulations on your absence from Twitter. If you were away, here's a breakdown of the dispute between Jeff Bezos and President Joe Biden. Biden first tweeted that the best way to reduce inflation is for the wealthiest firms to pay their fair amount. Bezos, the founder of Amazon, an enormously rich firm, objected. He quickly responded, claiming that connecting corporate taxes to inflation is simply misinformation. White House spokesperson Andrew Bates told several media outlets, "It's not a big leap to understand why one of the world's wealthiest people opposes an economic agenda for the middle class that cuts some of the biggest costs families face, fights inflation for the long haul, and adds to the president's historic deficit reduction by asking the richest taxpayers and corporations to pay their fair share." The White House reacted. Guess who reacted once again? Bezos feels that government subsidy funds spurred inflation. Corporate greed, according to Biden, is to blame. They're both correct, and they're both grossly exaggerating their claims. The fact is that there is no one source of inflation. There are many. Did the over $2 trillion in stimulus for families and people boost consumer demand and contribute to the 40-year high inflation we're experiencing? Yes. In Biden's first full month in office, the Consumer Price Index was less than 2%. Stimulus checks began to arrive in bank accounts in March 2021, when yearly inflation reached 2.6%. It was 4.2% in April. It was 5% in May, 6% in October, and now it's above 8%. That earns Team Bezos 1 point, though it's worth mentioning that the unemployment has dropped from 6.2% when Biden took office to 3.6% now, indicating that the economy is recovering. He emphasized his administration's labor market accomplishments, with 10 million new jobs gained since he took office, as well as its investments in the semiconductor industry. Meanwhile, he stated they produced all these jobs, and prices have gone up, but prices for energy have come down. While falling energy costs have helped to lessen overall inflation, price hikes for food and housing have remained stubbornly high. Economists suggest that if you look at the underlying trend, labor costs and rent hikes are both heading in the wrong direction and increasing at rapid rates. Other inflation metrics provide a glimpse of hope. The August Producer Price Index, issued a day after the CPI, indicated sustained reductions in the average change in prices paid to producers as supply chain issues resolve and high energy prices pass through the economy. Still, important inflation contributing and detracting elements are largely outside Biden's and the Fed's control. While the Fed's efforts to tighten monetary policy might decrease demand, authorities are unable to address supply-side circumstances that may keep inflation pressures high. What neither Biden nor Bezos address in their tweets is a boatload of additional reasons to blame for continuing high global inflation. Factors such as supply chain bottlenecks and shortages are still being sorted out as a result of the extraordinary global economic shutdown 2 years ago. Another factor that neither party wants to bring up is the Federal Reserve's extraordinary interference in financial markets, which began in the spring of 2020. When the epidemic struck the United States, the Federal Reserve unleashed a flood of cheap money while reducing interest rates to near zero in order to avert an economic collapse. Policy enacted by Trump-appointed Fed Chair Jerome Powell during the Trump administration kept equity markets humming through 2021. As Bezos is well aware, Amazon was arguably the largest beneficiary of the pandemic economy, though its shares have been hammered alongside other tech stocks in recent months. Oh, and there's a ground conflict in Eastern Europe that was upsetting global markets and driving up food and oil costs. Millions of people in China have been placed under severe curfew, reducing consumer demand and stopping industry in the world's second largest economy. To make markets worse, there's still an unresolved psychologically complicated imbalance in the labor market that is pressuring firms to spend more salaries and other perks. The quarrel is unusually high profile for Bezos, who has largely avoided public political petty arguments. With a net worth of $143.7 billion, Bezos is the world's third richest individual, trailing 2 steps behind Elon Musk, who has a fortune of $230 billion. Musk, the Tesla founder, has regularly used the social media network to target his perceived detractors and instigate arguments over free speech. Biden has frequently accused Amazon, the e-commerce behemoth created a run by Bezos for over a quarter century, of failing to pay its fair share taxes. Despite generating billions in revenues, Amazon paid no income tax in 2017 and 2018. The businesses have made only a few tax payments since then. Biden's connection with Bezos, who has given to both Democrats and Republicans in recent years, is murky. Bezos applauded Biden's 2020 victory against former President Donald Trump, who was overtly hostile to the Amazon CEO. And Bezos started last year that he supported expanding infrastructure investment and raising corporate taxes, all of which are significant goals for the Biden administration. However, as chair of the Federal Trade Commission, Biden has pushed for fraud probes into Amazon, and Biden appeared to support the movement to unionize Amazon facilities. On the policy question of whether boosting corporate income taxes would really reduce inflation, most economists give Biden the advantage with a condition. The notion is that hiking the corporation tax will limit business spending, lowering overall demand, and putting downward pressure on prices, said Michael Strain, a conservative economist at the American Enterprise Institute. Still, Strain and most other economists warn that it will require human intervention. The corporate income tax is well down the list of things I would do to control inflation. Carl Tannenbaum, chief economist at Northern Trust, a Chicago-based asset management business, agreed. So which side are you on? Bezos or Biden? Do you guys think these corporate taxes should be raised or something else should be done? Any thoughts on that? Anyway, let's hope for the best. That's about it for today. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more content just like this one. And while you're at it, turn on post notifications so that you never miss out on any of our future uploads. Drop a like for the video if you guys loved it. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll meet again in the next one.